Hello, everyone. IBA needs no introduction. And one of the reasons for this massive brand equity that we have in the market is, of course, our alumni. Our alumni are spread all over the globe and they are making waves, doing brilliant things across industries. Alumni Talkies is a very small testament of their excellence. In the Alumni Talkies series, we'll be talking to a few of our alumni about their journey, about their memories of IBA, and their struggles in life so far. So today we are going to talk to Sabir Sami. Sabir is a graduate of 1998, class of 1998. He has an illustrious career. He has worked for companies like Coca-Cola, P&G, RB, and Yum Brands. He has been the CEO of RB in Pakistan. He has also been the MD for Coca-Cola for Southwest Asia. Currently, he is working as the Global Chief Operating Officer of KFC and Asia MD at Yum Brands, and he's based out of Toronto. Welcome, Sabir.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you again.
Thank you. शुरू की बात है सो शुरू से ही शुरू करते हैं 1988 why IBA?
Well, to be honest, it was more accidental. I was planning to actually apply for engineering university, but because I had done my A levels overseas, and then between A levels overseas and the results there was a timing gap, so I was going to lose a year in terms of application of university process. So my father suggested कि एक साल जाए करने से बेहतर है कि कुछ कर लो इस साल में. And IB admissions were open, so I thought चलो apply करते. I did not know anything about commerce. I was a science type of background, and but reputation was great. जिससे बात करें कराची में, everybody said that is the best university in terms of business. So I did not know a single person in Karachi. I never lived in Karachi before that. I'm originally born in Lahore, but I grew up overseas. And I applied, and the plan actually was to spend 1 year in IB and then actually moved back to engineering university. But जब एक साल गुजर चुका था, by that time, I had made friends. I had got used to their culture there, and the concept of moving again. And the university, that engineering university was in Lahore, UAT जाना था. फिर से बैठ के to move to another city once again and make new friends just didn't sound appealing anymore. So I decided कि चलो ठीक है, let's just see this through, and and since then never looked back, I guess.
Okay. तो आपने 4 साल गुजारे IBA में.
जी.
कोई memories, something which has stayed with you for all these years, any fond memory?
I think memories are bahut hai, and of course most of them I would say is fond of course, like you spent 4 years kahin bhi, so they'll have ugly and good memories. Hopefully the fond memories are the ones that one remembers. But it's mostly linked, I think, to the friends that you maintain, the batchmates that you have, and we're still in touch. We're still very, very connected, and I think that many of them or most of them have become my closest friends since then. I was also during those 4 years, I was also hostel mein tha, IB hostel mein. I stayed in the hostel there.
Okay.
So the friends that were hostel mein jo saath rehte the, they've become like brothers, and I think sometimes even closer than brothers, frankly speaking, because I think when you spend in such an environment time together, really, really, emotional times, I would say. So I think most of the good memories are there. Obviously, I met my wife there as well. She was a batchmate as well, and we've been married now for 30 years. And so obviously that is, also a good outcome coming from IBA as well. So yeah, I mean, IBA really defined a lot of my life, I would say, both personal and professional.
अच्छा, और कोई ऐसी हैबिट जो आपने IBA के स्टे के दौरान पिकअप की हो और वो अब तक आपके साथ रही हो?
I don't know if it's habit. I think one more about learnings perhaps, but हमारे ज़माने में unfortunately कराची में हालात काफी खराब थे, and a lot of universities and schools curfews, markets बंद हो रही हैं and all that. But through it all, Karachi University IBA stayed open. And I think the concept of discipline, deadlines, getting things done, I think those have been good habits to stay with me for sure. I think the other one is that, IB ka dusra at least feature, and I've not been to IB recently, so I can't speak now of the student body, but I'm sure it's the same. It was truly representative from all aspects of life of Pakistan, both in terms of, for different parts of Pakistan, but also different socioeconomic strata as well. And I think that helps you kind of, relate to people, build connections, enhance relationships. So I think those are good habits or learnings that you pick up that stay with you for life. So, for example, I get frustrated now with procrastinators. People don't follow on deadlines, get things done. And, I would say that perhaps it's coming from, the experience in IBA.
Oh, definitely. So tell me one thing that, over a period of, 30 plus years, in your opinion, from your classmates, who made it big? The nerds or the street smart ones? Or was there no hard and fast rule?
Well, first of all, I'm not going to classify anybody as a nerd or a street smart because some of them will watch this and I'll get into trouble. And I don't think any of them wants to hear that. But I think, the interesting thing is that I have to admit that almost everybody in the class has done really well. And I think that goes to the testimony of IBA. Obviously to the individuals themselves, but I think also part of the selection process that was very, very strict to get into IBA. And then I think what it gives you in terms of a launch platform as well. And, to the question that you asked, I really don't think that I can say that, it was this group or that group. I think all have done really well in their chosen fields of professionalism. Some of them went and started their own businesses. Some of them went and joined professional in different industries, from banking to commerce to manufacturing, consumer goods. And all of them, mashallah, have done really, really well. And I think, so irrespective of whether you're so-called street smart or a geek nerd, I think it's the other skills and the attitude and the mindset beyond that really comes to play. That I think has led to everybody's success. Not that categorization of whether you're bookish or street knowledgeable.
And tell me, how much of your success do you attribute to IBA? And you can be honest. We will not hold it against you if you say it's all me. It's nothing to do with IBA. But tell me.
It's difficult to say in terms of an attribute, a number, or a numeric. But I mean, for sure, there's a big part of it. I think, first of all, again, I think as a graduate of IBA, at least definitely in the Pakistan environment, it gives you a great launching pad. I think that many companies don't question the fact that you've come from IBA. And again, when we were graduating at that time, each year only 30 students graduated from IBA. So it was a very small number, and many multinationals, as well as strong local companies, were very eager to hire IBA graduates. So clearly, there's no doubt about it. Starting a career, launching, getting into companies in the beginning, it definitely helped the fact that one had an IBA degree. And that continues, I think, in life as well, because as you kind of navigate your way through careers in Pakistan and then internationally, definitely coming from IBA helps. The second aspect is IBA now over like 50, 60 years has such a huge network of alumni that you invariably bumped into people who are also from IBA or know somebody from IBA. And that definitely builds to the credibility that you have as a professional, as somebody who comes from a strong university or a strong school as well. So I think underlying foundational that definitely helps one's career. But obviously, I mean, you have to work hard and you have to perform and deliver results. Those are a given. But definitely, I think the launching pad helps in Pakistan. It helps with international networking. And then, like I said earlier on, the habits and the skills and the knowledge that IBA taught us definitely helped along the way as well. The need to be curious, to ask questions, to figure out your own way, because sometimes you don't know what the right answer is and you go out and get it for yourself. Those are the things that definitely IBA helps as well.
Tell me one thing. You do come to IBA, and I'm sure you've interviewed a lot of IBA grads, and you've hired them also. Um, do you find a difference in terms of quality or in terms of skill set from the time that you were here and the graduates of today?
Yeah, I think it's more to do with percentages than anything else,
Mm-hmm.
because there are a lot more graduates that come from IBA now
Mm-hmm.
versus before. So, if you've got only 50 graduates and you meet 10 of them. So when I was working in Pakistan, we used to come and do recruitment drives from IBA. If you interview, and not interview, but if you screen 20 people out of 50, you will definitely meet a high, significant number of strong talent, especially, if you look at different markers in terms of GPA, internships and so forth. Now, mashallah, the number is a lot larger. So then if you interview only 20 people again out of, let's say, 400, the odds are different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, so that's the difference between when, let's say 25, 20 years ago versus now. Having said that, it's a lot more competitive now. I think that the students these days, there are other universities from where MBAs are graduating, so they're competing with those for jobs as well and for opportunities. And then there's a larger group that are graduating from IBA as well. So that competitiveness, I think, has made it more interesting in terms of the talent coming out of IBA. And of course, when we graduated versus now, the whole world has changed with technology and internet and so forth. And people might find it surprising, but when I graduated, internet was not there. There was no such thing as internet. And now with social media and other aspects of life has changed so much. So I think the graduates today have new skills and perhaps even better skills that are adapted to today's workplace needs than we did, or at least we are today. And I mean, I'm at a different stage in my career, and if you would ask me to start a entry-level job right now, probably I would struggle because the skills needed now are very, very different than what I have and what I am good at, so to speak.
You mentioned your class size of 30. So our graduating batch last year was 926.
There you
Um,
go.
yeah, so it's
Yeah.
a huge difference.
So it's
Hmm.
it's incomparable in terms of the 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 size, the scale, the competitiveness, and that's just keep in mind when we graduated, LUMS was not there either.
Hmm.
So and there was no other MBA program in Pakistan.
That's true. Yeah.
So today you got 900 from IBA, but then you got all the other ones from other universities in Pakistan, and and the corporate world in Pakistan obviously has expanded, and there are more jobs, but I'm not too sure that the proportions are the same as well.
Okay, tell me one thing. So we have moved from being a business school to now being a full-fledged university offering various disciplines, from accounting and finance to liberal arts to we have masters in journalism, we have masters in Islamic banking and finance. This year we've started masters in data science, masters in finance, masters in management. So in terms of the direction of travel, which disciplines or which skill sets do you think will be necessary for future employability? Because you are an employer also. KFC employs, every month a huge chunk of graduates from Pakistan. So it's a big employer. Any discipline that you think we should add to our bandwidth, or any skill that you think will be the future skill?
I mean, it's a very good question and probably merits a longer discussion and debate, and I would not be the perfect person to answer this. We have HR people who are probably better equipped. There are some obvious answers. I think technology, e-commerce is becoming a huge part of the changing landscape, and the COVID pandemic has accelerated that, where the world has moved more online and digital. And so whether you are in any service industry or even the manufacturing industry, I think being comfortable and experienced in anything to do with digital and technology definitely helps. I think that's it. And it is irrespective of what you're in, no matter what business you're in. I think technology is going to play a much, much bigger role because in the past, businesses had adopted to technology, but customers or consumers had not. Now the world has adopted technology. And everything is, if your business is not integrated with smartphones, you probably will be out of business very soon. So I think that's important. I think the only other opinion that I have is that many business schools and many people who graduate, and even senior managers or managers that we work with, usually are very, stronger on technical skills. The area that I think defines success is the softer skills of management. And I think that in the early stages of one's career, one is very task oriented. You manage projects, you manage budgets, you manage, items and such things. But I think that as you move on in your career, what really drives success and defines success for many middle managers and directors and beyond is when you get into people management and the ability to motivate, coach, mentor, develop, assess talent, build teams, collaborate. And those are the skills that unfortunately we find that many young people don't have. And the unfortunate reality is that the schooling education system is highly competitive. But if you bring that same competitiveness into the workplace amongst your colleagues, then it creates a poisoned well sort of situation. So we find out that we have to change that mold, and we have to educate and train people on the power of collaboration and the ability to coach people. I mean, as part of the global leadership team on KFC, I really don't manage projects. It's really about managing people. We have something like around, 300 to 400 people, the leaders in the Asia business unit who report into me. And, my job is really to make sure that they deliver results that they are developing. So I think, no matter what area you're in, I think it's important to learn those softer skills of management that then can help you later on succeed in life as well.
That's very useful insight, actually. Okay, so we're almost coming to the close of our talk. One thing which I know is very close to your heart, and that is giving back to IBA. And you have a favorable bias towards IBA. I've seen you come down literally for an hour to do a guest speaker session or a mentoring session for our students. So I want to ask you, what is the thought process behind this feeling that, I need to give back to IBA? Why is it important to you?
Yeah, well, I think, giving back to community and everybody, I think is important. As you go through life, you begin to realize what's really more important. I think business projects and all these things go, but I think the legacy you leave behind becomes much more important. But IBA specifically, obviously, for the reasons I mentioned before, it has such a big impact on my personal and professional life. And, today, I would say, 80% or 90% of my friends are IBA linked. The people that I spent my 4 years at IBA. So it's a big aspect of my life. But I think that, my thinking is that, when we were at IBA, we had guest speakers, but they were very formal guest speakers who would stand up on the stage and read out speeches and, theories, which was interesting to hear, but very hard to relate to. And I think for many young people these days, the real challenge is all about, they're dealing with struggles and challenges that perhaps we had as well, but we didn't know how to figure it. We kind of muddled our way through them. And hopefully that, if we can help younger people kind of navigate their way through their early stages in their career, then I think it's our responsibility. So, I don't mind coming as a speaker, but I don't think that speaking is the answer. It's really more about listening to people and answering any concerns that they have, which I think would be a lot more powerful. And I also enjoy learning from them as well, right? What's on their mind? What are the challenges that they think about as well? We didn't, when we were graduating and we were young, we didn't have mentors. I didn't, at least in my early stages, I didn't have a mentor. So, there are lots of questions that you're not too sure how to handle a difficult boss, how to manage a difficult timeline, how to give feedback to a difficult employee or a team member. So those are the challenges that I think many people would struggle with, or even, personal situations as well. So yeah, I mean, giving back to IBA, like I said, is because IBA is special, and I think giving back is an important part. And for us, those of us at KFC, and we work around the world. A big part of our job as leaders is coaching and mentoring. So I have CFOs from Russia to Australia to CEOs in South Africa that I mentor. And it's a big part of my job, and for many of us leaders as well. And I think it's a very meaningful part of our job that gives us great satisfaction.
Thank you, Sabir. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. And may you continue to be successful in your personal and professional life. We wish you all the best and stay connected. Thank you.
Manoj. Good to see you again. Take care. Thanks for the time.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.